everybody, happy Friday. This is Brian and this is Candice.
Hi.
Hopefully everybody had a great week, excuse me, and you're ready for a wonderful weekend. It is a Fez Friday. I picked a new Fez. I haven't worn this one before.
It's so cute.
Little tiny, it does have a little chin strap, but I don't know if you can really see, you can kind of see it back
Yeah.
there. But that's what holds it on my head. I feel a little bit like an organ grinder monkey.
I like it.
Yeah. We have a few of these mini Fezzes.
Cute.
A lot of them live on top of tiki mugs. So it's the same company that makes the big Fez, but I got the little one. And I also like the little cocktail olive on it.
It's adorable.
Yeah. Hey, Josh.
Travel size.
Travel size. Pocket size. It's a pocket size Fez. I'm trying to think of what like a mini
Fun size?
Fun size Fez.
Fun size Fez Friday.
Fun facts. Fun size Fez Friday. Hey, Josh. Boy, two Joshes, and both Joshes I haven't seen in a long time that I used to work with.
Hi, Josh's.
So, Candice. Hey,
Yes.
Devin.
Hi, Devin. I love you.
Speaking of turnt, Candice, what are you drinking tonight?
Cranberry juice.
Just cranberry juice?
Well,
Let me smell.
it's just a little Friday cranberry
Yeah.
juice.
Is it is it cran cherry or?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Ocean Spray, which is, the name, and cranberry juice, they do have a really good tasting. There's some mixtures. And I was growing up, there was cranberry juice, and there was cran apple, and then a little bit later was cran grape.
Yeah.
But now they have some really delicious cran cherry and cran blackberry and cran raspberry.
History of Ocean Spray.
History of Ocean Spray.
Here on Friday night.
Here in the bog. You see those guys standing in the
Yeah.
bog? Yeah. They dump the sugar in it. It's like, but not right here.
I like those commercials. I think they're very funny.
I think they're very clever as well. So on top of it being Fez Friday, and it's a Friday happy hour.
Yeah.
TGIF. You might be able to hear a little bit of music in the background. I kind of put it quiet, so you might not be able to hear it. We can hear it, so that's great. We're here in the Tiki Bar. Hey, Jennifer. One of the things we're talking about today is TV shows.
Yeah.
We watch a lot of TV, but it's kind of like our hobby.
Yeah.
And it's also something just to be on in the background as we're doing other things. So in the evening as we're eating dinner or doing projects or paying bills or playing games on our phone or talking or whatnot. So we're going to talk about some of our favorite TV shows, and hopefully you guys can jump in with some of your favorite TV shows. Hi, Mikhail. Hey, Cliff.
Happy Friday.
Oh, The Walking Dead, right off the bat. And every person who talks tonight and talks about a TV show, add another minute to my stationary bike for tomorrow. So now we got a minute. That's a challenge.
I forgot.
Yeah, Walking Dead. I really like The Walking Dead too. I started reading the comics before there was a TV show. So when the TV show came out, I'm like, this is super awesome. I do feel like
Kiss the kitties for us.
I do feel like I'm a little over The Walking Dead. I think there was a big, long stretch where things just got... I'm not giving any spoilers to anybody who hasn't watched it, but there's a big, long stretch where it's just dark and bleak and just blah. And I just never caught back into it. It's a good show. They did a really good
I watched a good chunk of it and then kind of fell out of it.
Yeah.
I'm not that into scary stuff in general, and so zombies are not really my bag. But I got into it. I saw Coral and all of his friends.
Cool.
I got into it for a hot minute, and then it was fine.
And if you remember,
I don't miss it.
Don't miss it. I don't miss it. It was good when it was there. I had good memories of it. I liked the comics. And if you remember, even before the show came on, I would read it, and you'd be like, "What are you reading?"
You were really into it before there was a show.
And I was like, "It's a zombie book."
Walking Dead moment.
It's cool about zombies. Hey, Lynette. But really, zombies aren't the most dangerous things in it. Like, it's all the other people.
No, it's people.
Yeah.
Once again, it's humanity.
So on the green is people.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Coral. So it's a good show. So everyone else, let me know some of your favorite shows. Candice, what are some of your favorite TV shows?
I love RuPaul's Drag Race.
RuPaul's Drag Race, super fun.
That's a good show.
So talented. So many talented people.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Firefly. Brian loves that show, and I love Nathan Fillion.
Hey Josh, so good with Firefly.
I feel like if Nathan Fillion met me, he'd want to hang out.
I think so. And the Orville, Love the Orville. Remember we watched that when it came on?
Yeah, it's funny.
And it's on. I think the next season is going to be on Hulu, and luckily we have Hulu now, so we'll watch it. Firefly is one that I really, really enjoy. I liked every episode. Last time there was a marathon, I TiVo'd it, so it's on whenever we can.
Thank you.
Oh, isn't she?
I have a hula meeting after this, so I have to look kind of cute today.
And I quote Firefly a lot, especially the
at least from like the
I'll be in
waist
my bunk.
up, you know, Zoom meeting action.
Let's see. Oh, Fixer Upper and
Ooh,
Chopped.
Chopped.
Fixer Upper. Is that Cliff and Joanna?
I don't know.
I think that's Cliff and Joanna. I like Fixer Upper too. I do like a lot of the real estate shows, and I know
We
you do.
We
too.
like the fixing up shows. Renovation
shows. Lots of great ideas, and there's also some too where it's like, no, don't destroy that. It looks so cool, because some of them are really cool.
Oh my gosh, they
Mid-century or
destroy
classic
so
ones.
many pink bathrooms.
Oh, the pink bathrooms and the
Aw,
yellow
thanks.
bathrooms. Doesn't she always look cute though? Oh my goodness. I haven't seen Chopped, I don't think.
I don't know which one that one is.
I think Chopped is-
Alton Brown.
Alton
Yeah,
Brown.
yeah. I think I have seen an episode of that where they give you like mystery ingredients, and then you have to cook something and eliminate other people.
Okay.
I don't know. We don't watch that show. Sorry.
I like the Alton Brown shows, especially, I mean, the old school Good Eats.
Yeah, Good Eats.
And they were also really interesting. And I also
Thank you. It's from Forever 21, just like me.
Forever 21, just like Candice. The other thing I liked about Alton Brown is it looks like
It's very stretchy and comfortable. It's like t-shirt material. It's great.
It looks really good.
Yeah.
That Alton Brown show, they've redone it, and it's fun to watch him where he's like, I said this before, but realistically it shouldn't be that.
Lessons learned.
Lessons learned. Well, even sometimes he's like, well,
Thank you.
we just got this thing the day or two before. We were playing around with it. We thought it'd be the right thing to do. It's like, actually, just use an egg. Like, it's whatever the material or stuff
Yeah.
is. And I think there's a restaurant in Texas. I don't know. I think it might be a chain, but I know down in Texas called Good Eats.
Oh, yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Firefly is on Hulu. Nice.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah. If people haven't seen Firefly, check it out on Hulu. Nathan Fillion's in it. It's really good. Adam Baldwin. Hi, Heather. Alan Tudyk.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's people that you'll see in there that you recognize, and it's kind of cool space western. You might have seen my Jane hat the other day.
Topic is favorite TV shows.
Favorite TV shows.
Or just like TV shows you like. It doesn't have to be your, number one ultimate only TV show. Because, like, we all get it. You like lots of shows.
Yeah.
I like lots of shows.
I like lots of shows, too. I think it's...
You go through, like, seasons of it. Did you guys watch You?
Hi, Jimmy.
Oh, my
Hi,
gosh.
Jimmy.
I watched that show.
All the Judge on Cooks in America was awesome. Hey, Clem.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's tough to say, like, what's my one all-time favorite show, because there's a lot that's just so good, but there's also really good drama shows, and there's really good comedy shows, and there's good other shows.
Oh, I've never watched an episode of Grey's Anatomy.
I saw...
The Office is great. I've never watched Frankie and Grace.
I've
seen the ads for it.
I saw one episode of Grey's Anatomy. Hey, Matt. And it was...
Oh, West Wing? I've not seen that
The episode of Grey's Anatomy was the one where some guy had like a bomb that got launched in him, or a rocket that got launched in him, or something. Like, they had to figure it out. The West Wing was really good. I used to watch it every week, and that was a really good show. Dule Hill, who's Gus on...
I love him. He's great.
Yeah, he was in that. I don't know what Cliff said that Lynette said she did, but... Oh, Community.
It was seeing somebody on something.
Oh, Judge and Alton Brown, yeah. The Office.
Community. That was a funny show.
That was a funny show,
I'm
too.
not that into Joel McHale.
Yeah, I'm not a big Joel McHale fan either.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I know he's like, oh, he was on a Seattle show. Great.
Yeah.
He's very tall.
But there was some cool... Like, I really liked the paintball episode.
Yeah, it's a funny show.
Where, like, he took a nap in his car, and then he woke up, and, like, the whole place has been drunk.
Good for you. Love Will and Grace. Will and Grace was a funny show. I watched that back in the day.
I saw that they're having another final season, which was cool that they all came back. That was pretty fun.
Yeah. Especially for people who love that show.
Yeah. And the cool thing now is with TV is there's also now Netflix and Hulu and Amazon and There's a whole bunch of other streaming things that have like free shows on, so you can even bring up old shows and watch them. Like I've been watching Dragnet, and I know that was on TV. We watched a show, and I don't even remember what app it was. The TV that we were watching.
We love the Goldbergs too.
Love the Goldbergs. The TV that we had was broken, so we were watching a different TV, and it didn't have cable. And we were watching one network that had like just all kinds of MTV shows. And does anybody remember the TV show Next, the dating show?
Terrible.
It's terrible. They were all terrible. I would love to see.
Fleabag. They won a bunch of awards.
Fleabag. Yeah. So if you haven't seen Next. I don't know what these people. I would love to see a Where Are They Now on Next, but they would go on a blind date, and if they wanted to go to the next person, they would say next. So sometimes they would walk right out and go next, like weird. Fleabag, I've heard lots of really good things about.
Yeah, but I haven't watched it.
I want to see it. I want to see Fleabag. I want to see, and I want to see Miss Maisel.
Yeah, it's very good. I watched the first couple seasons.
Oh, thanks everybody for joining. Again, everybody's going to be... I'm going to get 1 minute per person, so you can't just keep busting out all of the...
Fun facts.
Fun fact.
My dad looks just like Eric Estrada. I'm not kidding.
So much so that we've gone to restaurants before, and people will come up and say, like, is that Eric Estrada?
Eric Estrada?
Is that Eric
My
Estrada?
My dad looks just like Eric Estrada. I'm not kidding. He does. Yeah. Fun facts. My dad is not Eric Estrada. He just looks like Eric Estrada.
Yep. Dun, 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 dun,
He's half Filipino and half Portuguese.
Dun, 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 dun.
He looks just like Eric Estrada.
Yep. And he
is. He's very handsome. Can I show a picture, maybe?
Yeah, you can. You want me to hold your drink while you do that?
No, it's fine. I got it.
Okay.
I could
see. Mikhail agrees with you. He really does.
He does. My dad looks just like Eric Estrada, you guys. He's real cute. He works out for 2 hours every day. He lifts weights.
Yep. Let's see. What are other shows that we like? We watched Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones was one of the only shows that we watched when it actually was on, that hour. With the TiVo, we watch stuff whenever it gets recorded now and again. Oh, Rachel Ray, yeah.
This is my dad, who looks like Eric Estrada. This is a picture of him from like 2 days ago.
Yep. His gun's out.
Sun's out, guns out.
Sun's out, guns out. That's
sorry, not sorry. That's not Eric Estrada. That's my dad.
Yeah.
He's the cutest.
You're the cutest.
No. He's the cutest, truly.
Yeah. So with the TiVo, things can load up. I don't know what nights anything was on, but we knew that Game of Thrones was on Sunday. We watched that live, especially because it was a show too, or didn't want to get it spoiled. But a lot of other things are just on. Like we like Judge Judy.
Oh my gosh, we watch Judge Judy every single day. I love Judge Judy. I love her.
I'm a show. Evening Magazine, we watch that a lot.
That's true, we do watch that a lot.
I mean, it's tough for them now just because of the format of their show.
Ooh, Downton Abbey.
Oh, Downton Abbey.
We watched that.
Yeah. Evening Magazine, the format of their show is going out, meeting people, going places. Well, when you can't go out and meet people and go places, it's tough to do their show.
Yeah.
Downton Abbey was so good.
It was so good.
We also didn't watch it till the first season was over, and then we binged watched it one weekend, and it was one of those things like when we watched the 6 or 8 episodes, which was an hour and a half each. By the end of the weekend, it's like, this is our life now. We now live at the Abbey.
Oh my gosh.
We are, this is what we're going to do.
So much.
We're going to go out shooting with the Duke, and a Turkish diplomat is going to come in, and we're going to take a steamer.
Afterlife on Netflix.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one. Mm-mm. That one looks good. Let's check it out. Excellent suggestions.
Yeah.
Yeah, Downton Abbey is really good.
Downton Abbey was really good.
I liked Carson. His voice was really cool.
Daisy?
Oh, Daisy. Oh, Mrs. Patmore?
Yeah. She's my favorite.
Yeah, she was good. It's also interesting now that because that's where I knew a lot of those characters, that when you see them on other shows and that's not the way they act, it's like, I know they're actors. I know they play other parts. But you just get so used to seeing them.
Like all the actresses and stuff with like modern makeup and hair.
Oh, that's the other thing is that they're all period. They do so well. Then all of a sudden they're in modern makeup and like, you know, they're wearing like a Nirvana T-shirt, and you're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Tassel going crazy.
Crazy Tassel.
Crazy Tassel time. Mary's first husband.
He was so cute. William, I think. Wasn't that his name?
Was he the one that was
blonde
in the car?
Yeah.
His mom?
Yeah. He was a cutie. He was also like a good guy, and like Mary did not deserve him because she was the worst. I did not like Mary. I still don't like Mary. Ugh. I love the accents too.
Yep. I think it was spinning, but it was either spinning too fast or it wasn't spinning at all.
I don't know what's happening.
Okay. I'm not a good tassel twirler. We have a lot of friends that are a lot better at tassel twirling than I am.
Oh, earthquake.
Oh, there's lots of really good accents on that show. Also, it was another one of those shows that we would watch and we'd be looking in the back like, look at that lamp, or look at the way that bookcase was, or that door frame was really awesome, just because they'd have really cool stuff.
Yeah, the set design was really awesome. Beautiful. That time period is also just like very cool.
Yeah. That was a good show. And Saturday Night Live had a really fun sketch when they were talking about it. And it was also that they were like watching it but didn't know any of the names of the characters. So it was like Super Jerk and Chicken Lady and Mean Sister and Nice Sister and
once we watched that, we like called the characters by those names because it was so accurate. It was like so spot on.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a while for me to really get invested to like learn the characters' names on shows.
Yeah, Mary was the worst.
So it's like oh, the older sister, the younger sister, the middle sister. Hey Don, hi Alan. Or it'd be like, oh, that, you know, the mean butler or nice guy, something like that.
Yeah.
He's still a chauffeur driver. I don't know, or the chauffeur. He became something else, and the cop and everything else. Bates I knew. Hi Don, thanks for reminding me. Don didn't log in right then. I would have forgotten. Ozark, Better Call Saul. Okay, I've heard nothing but great things about Ozark. Totally
oh my
need
gosh,
to check it out.
So many people watch that show.
I think we need to see it. And also, like, I guess a new season just dropped.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, that's the end of I can't do anything until I watch it all. And it should be super, super good. We need to check that one out.
Yeah, people love that show.
And we loved Breaking Bad. Mm-hmm. And I like the character of Saul. I guess we just haven't got around to watching Better Call Saul. I think we were watching a couple other shows. Better Call Saul came out. And we started watching other things. And then I start wondering, is that a show that, for Better Call Saul, can we just jump in, or do we really have to start at the beginning? I have a feeling we might have to start at the beginning.
Also, it's on Netflix.
Oh, that's cool.
From the beginning. Thanks, have a good night.
Thanks, Michelle. Thanks for logging in. Good to see you. And thanks for giving me a couple minutes on the exercise bike, or a minute on the exercise bike for talking about TV shows. So remember, everybody, we're doing a TV show challenge tonight. Every person who talks about TV will add time for me on the stationary bike. We've already got some great times on here today. Breaking Bad is really good. Was it Wonder Falls? Is that what John said? I've heard of Wonder Falls, but I don't think I've seen it.
I haven't seen that one either.
And I think it's the new show, right? Why do I think of something else with Wonder Falls? There was a show where a girl worked in I think she worked in like the gift shop, and then like the gifts would talk to her or something like that. I don't know
about that.
I don't know. It was a little on the wonky side. Oh, I don't know if you can hear the cymbals going off.
Yeah.
The castanets.
Ozark.
I think we need to start from the beginning. For sure. Better Call Saul, I don't know about. We'll have to check that one out. Happy is weird. Oh, I've heard about Happy.
Yeah, I've heard that one's strange too.
And Happy is with Happy's the character that's from Law and Order SVU that played Benson, I think. Detective Benson. I think so. Super quirky. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I like some quirky stuff every now and again.
Every now and again?
Candice married quirky.
That's why he likes me.
I see. The guy wearing the mini fez sitting in his tiki bar. I wonder if he likes anything quirky. Luckily, Candice likes Quirky because she married Quirky.
I'm kind of quirky.
Quirky would be my middle name if my middle name wasn't Hunka Burning Love.
Is it really?
No, it's not. It really
That's
isn't.
disappointing.
For all you know, maybe it is.
I know your middle name at this time in our life.
Yeah.
Together.
I know both your middle names.
Patton Oswalt does the voice of Happy.
Patton Oswalt cracks me up.
He's very funny.
He was so hilarious in Reno 911
Yes.
as well. Some of his stand-up stuff is hilarious. Really funny. He's got a funny story too about coming up to the Tulalip Casino.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
It's also funny that he just completely mispronounces it.
Yeah.
But he was also talking about like an insane amount of money to come up, and I'm like, make that money.
Yeah, do it.
Do it. I've driven by the place, but I've never been there.
I've been there. I brought my uncle there when
Nice.
he was here visiting. And I think he won money at the craps table.
Oh.
Pretty sure.
There you go.
He's a lucky guy. He wins a lot at the casino.
You lucky guy, however, not your Uncle Lucky.
No, different guy.
Different uncle.
Yeah.
I'm just looking, Candice just put her foot on my foot, and I'm looking down, and it's like half the size of my foot. You're so little.
That's what happens.
Hi, Sarah. I'm Misty. For people who are just joining, and I'm hopefully I've said hi to as many people as we can that have jumped in. I know sometimes it comes on and doesn't show your name, but thank you for joining. It's a wonderful Friday night. I got my fun size fez on, listening to a little Arthur Lyman on the radio. Let me know what some of your favorite TV shows are. We're talking about TV. Any of your favorite shows. Everybody who talks about a TV show will add time for me on the stationary bike, so that is awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. It doesn't have to be your all-time favorite. It can just be some of your favorites, because I know it's really hard to kind of pick one. Westworld. You know, we watched the first half of the season of Westworld, and it was really good. I think we need to pick that one back up.
Totally.
And I really enjoyed the movie that it was based on. So as I watched that one, the old Yul Brynner one. Again, this is another time where Yul Brynner makes his presence known on this. This is like, we've talked about 3 Yul Brynner movies. Innocence Project. I'm a sucker for nature shows and documentaries.
I love a nature show and documentary.
Candice loves nature shows. We both like
of
documentaries.
I watch a lot of nature shows. I primarily watch nature shows.
About once a week, I find myself saying, I wonder if there's a documentary about this. Like, I just want to watch somebody who's put together a good hour and a half on a topic, instead of like, oh, I don't need to see 9 hours of it. I don't want to follow the whole thing. Hi, Tammy. If you saw, there's a documentary. There's a documentary that just came out called McMillions. Highly recommended, about the scandal around the McDonald's Monopoly game for like 20 years. Super cool show. Oh, the pillow's busted. Candice had to step away for a second. She has a meeting with her hula school later tonight, so she's making sure that she gets everything under control there. It's a wild ride. Let's see, what was a wild ride? Innocence Project, Ozark. Again, another vote for Ozark. Oh man, I gotta check that out. And I like Jason Bateman. Jason Bateman was so good in Arrested Development. If you haven't seen that one, that is extra funny. There's always money in the banana stand.
Sorry. I'm back.
Hey everybody, Candice is back. Hey Candice, how you doing tonight?
Hi, I'm good.
I'm Brian, this is Candice.
I have a hula meeting coming up, and now everybody's freaking out.
So Candice, what are you drinking?
Cranberry juice.
Over by Michael Crichton. You know what? I think that's one of those facts that I kind of remember way back in the day. But yeah, Pushing Daisies.
That was a good show. I love that
John.
show.
Like, I didn't see Dead Like Me, I don't think. Did you watch Dead Like Me?
No, I didn't.
Was that what was the one where the girl was dead and Mandy Patinkin was in it, and they were?
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
Like,
Was that show? I don't know.
I
did watch that show.
Reaper was also good. Remember that was like the son of the devil. It was Sock.
Mm.
But Pushing Daisies,
I like that show.
I like that show so much that, in fact, I even find myself about twice a week when I'm recapping something for somebody at work. I'm like, the facts were these, because that's what he was always say on that show. And every time I think of Kristen Chenoweth, I think of her on that show.
Mm-hmm.
It was also very strange for me to see the Pie Man in the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
He was like Guardians of the Galaxy is the main bad guy. And you're like, oh, that's the guy she was making pie. Little promo documentary.
Oh, Boy Band Con.
Boy Band Con. Oh, I've heard about that.
Ooh.
Tiny Hat Alert. Fun Size Fez Alert.
It's so cute. It's really cute. I like it.
Also, Fun Size Fez Fact. Fun Size Fez Fact. I had a bunch of mini Fezes to choose from.
That's true. He's
I had
more
to
than
pick
one.
So this is the one I picked today. I mean,
Sons of Anarchy. We've watched that show.
Yep.
I watched one season of Dexter.
And it was funny. I don't want to give anything away with Dexter if you haven't seen it. But I had watched it before. I watched it all the way through. Then Candice was watching it, and she was watching it when I was at work. So every once in a while, she would send me a text like, oh my gosh, big thing just happened. And I'm like, oh, yep, it sure did. Then I would wait a little bit more. She's like, wait, and then this thing happened because it was tied to that thing? Like, yeah, it was really shocking. It was really good.
It was a good show.
And we like Sons of Anarchy, too. We watched the heck of it. It was funny thing is, we tried once or twice to get into it when it first came out. And, like, the third time through was when we started watching it. And it was like, yep, there you go. Like, that was a really good show.
Yeah, I liked it.
With Jax.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gemma.
Opie.
Oh, rest in peace.
Oh,
Opie in his ponytail.
Spoiler alert. Sorry, Ope. And the funniest Elvis impersonator ever.
Yeah, Bobby.
Oh, Bobby.
Cute.
There's a guy, what was the show that we were talking about? We kept calling him Juice, and it wasn't Juice.
On Letterkenny.
Letterkenny. Yeah, it was like Joint Boy and something else. But there's a guy in Letterkenny who reminds me a lot of Juice from Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, they look alike.
They look like. But it's just a tall guy, same kind of skin complexion, bald head, muscular, wear like tank tops a lot. So like, oh, well,
Like
just
to
like
fight
Juice.
people.
Yep. Rewatch Deadwood. I need to watch Deadwood. My dad watched it and really liked it. I've been to Deadwood. Deadwood was a super fun place to visit. I understand it's changed a lot because they legalized gambling. So a lot of like the gift shops and restaurants have cleaned out and it's all just slot machines and casino stuff. But it was still super good. And The Office, luckily The Office is on a lot, so you can just turn it on. Highly recommend. I know I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. Listen to the Office Ladies podcast.
It's very funny.
It's Pam and Angela from The Office, who turns out they're best friends. Also, they do journals. They journaled the whole time on there. So they will go back episode by episode, talk about their memories, talk about things, and then watch the episode. So
it's really
it's
funny.
a good evening. Hey, Sean. So we're talking about TV shows. Please keep them coming. Every time a new person talks about a new TV show, it's adding time to the exercise bike for me. So that'll be good. It'll keep me occupied tomorrow because we'll have the weekend. Like, oh my gosh, how do we keep ourselves occupied?
Yeah, I hope you guys are staying home, staying safe, taking care of yourselves.
Stay home, stay safe, stay healthy. Life in Pieces. Oh, I've heard about Life in Pieces.
I've heard of that one too.
Movies, The Big Lebowski and Office Space. Totally. Office Space.
Great.
Office Space actually came up
quotable.
Very, very quotable. I relate to Office Space because I feel like I've worked in Office Space before with the same kind of things. There was a time for a little while, this is a bunch of years ago, we literally had TPS reports.
That's awesome.
At my office. Now, I don't remember what it meant. It was...
Did you use a cover sheet?
No, we didn't have to use a cover sheet because we also didn't use a fax. But we had TPS reports, and some of the people hadn't seen Office Space by that time, so I'll just give you another copy of that memo. And I'm going to need you to come in on Saturday. I'm like, oh, man.
Aww.
Oh, man. But I've heard about Life in Pieces. That sounds like a good one, too.
I've heard that. I've heard of that one.
There's also some good shows that seem to come around. Like, this goes back to Firefly. There's around for a season, and then it's gone. Boy, you really miss it. Fox had a bunch of TV shows like that for a while. Remember there was I don't remember the name now. There was a guy who was like John Doe. Remember that show? And like weren't sure who he was, and that came and went. Prison Break. Well, Prison Break had a couple seasons, but I think the first season was good. That was my opinion. Once they kind of broke out of the prison, it was kind of like, oh well, you've kind of done what you needed to do. It is fun seeing both those characters that play the brothers on Prison Break are in those DC TV shows. So they're in,
Oh,
I think the what is it, like, not Guardians of the Galaxy name? It's like Heroes of the Future or
oh
something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But they play, one guy is a super cold frost gun guy, and the other guy is a super hot fire guy. So it's kind of fun to see that. Same people and the different characters.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've been watching Dragnet. I've been watching Vegas. I like that show, Vegas. Dan Tana and his old
Shows from the 60s.
shows from the 60s and 70s. But it's also like old school Vegas. He drives his car right into his house, just opens up, pulls right in.
That seems bad for carbon monoxide.
It seems so bad for carbon monoxide. It's so terrible. He has like his bed right in the middle of the room, and his bed is also in the same room as his office. So sometimes he wakes up and like his secretary and assistant are already there working for the day, and he's like, "Oh, what's up, guys?" I'm like, "Oh man, it's terrible."
Awkward.
It is fun him driving down the streets in Vegas, and you look up on the sign and it says it'll be like the Riviera starring Sammy Davis Jr.
Yeah.
And like, what is happening? The Aladdin, Elvis. Like, oh, that's cool. And then it'll be like Elvis, and it'll be like the Mandrell sisters, and then Red Fox playing at 2 and 4 in the morning.
Didn't you watch Blacklist?
I watched The Blacklist. I watched a couple seasons of The Blacklist. It was really, really good. Yeah, that was a good show.
That's the one with James Spader, right?
Yes, James Spader. And
Looks weird now.
yeah, I haven't seen the show in a couple years. I think it was one of those two where I watched it, peaked for a couple of years, and then I'd start watching something else. It's tough sometimes when these shows have like a mid-season break.
Mm-hmm.
You get going, and the mid-season break, and they're gone for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and then it's hard to get back to it.
I watched some of Chuck. I don't remember watching all of Chuck. I feel like it kind of drifted at the end, and I don't remember seeing it all the way through.
Yeah, but
I don't know. We watched a lot of Chuck.
We watched a lot of Chuck. We were with Morgan and what was it, Captain Awesome?
Yeah.
And his sister. Yeah, it was a good show. We still talk about it all the time. Very first episode when the car is zipping by there, the nerd herd.
Nerd alert.
No, computer emergency. Like, oh,
so cute.
So good. And then way to go, Chuck. Now it's Shazam.
Yeah. He's still cute.
And I haven't seen his good news stuff that he's done on Instagram.
Yellowstone.
Hi, Casey. Yellowstone. Is Yellowstone the one with like the sheriff, like a modern? Well, it's modern, like in the past couple years, but it's like the sheriff drives around. I think my dad was telling me about Yellowstone. I'll have to check that one out too. But yeah,
do you guys watch The Masked Singer? I like The Masked Singer.
Oh, does anybody watch The Masked Singer?
I think that's a cute show.
Candice is really good at that one. The Grand Poobah.
That's you.
I actually have a Grand Poobah hat like right over there. It's a little tight though, so I need to figure something out.
Slightly larger than that.
But I got my fun size Fez Friday going. You can barely even see the chin strap. You can see when I turn my head.
Yeah.
But that's what keeps it on. If that wasn't on there, I'd have to figure like, I don't know, double-sided tape or.
Yeah, glue it somehow.
I do feel like I should have an organ grinder and just be playing and turn around and getting people for tips.
Why not?
I can't hide a lot under this little Fez
6
either.
6 feet away.
6 feet away. Stay over there, but give me money. Money, please. So speaking of Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec.
The worst. Parks and Rec is a fun show. That's the old Ron Swanson show, which is good. But like even all those characters are really good.
Nope. Fun fact: I'm really afraid of monkeys. Very afraid of monkeys.
Yeah, Candice is not good
like,
with monkeys.
Top 3 fears: monkeys.
Like Candice was invited; she was going to go with a girlfriend to Costa Rica, but she's like, "No, there's monkeys. I'm not going."
So, fun fact.
Fun facts.
Very afraid of
Yellowstone,
monkeys.
Tyler, when you expect you like it. I'm gonna have to add Yellowstone to that. Ray Donovan. I've heard great things about Ray Donovan, and I feel like Bosch is another show that I've heard great. My dad watched Bosch. Ray Donovan seems really, really good. Luther, if you guys haven't seen Luther, I highly recommend that. It's a British show with Idris Elba, who I think is one of the coolest people around. I think he would be a great James Bond as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
We love Brooklyn
Oh,
Nine-Nine.
Nine
That is
Nine.
a very funny show. Cool, 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 cool,
Cool, cool, cool, cool, cool, cool, cool, cool, cool, cool, cool.
Indeed, 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 indeed.
Indeed, 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 indeed. Look, it appears to be a yellow-breasted warbler.
Too excited.
Too excited.
Good show.
Teachers. I don't know, teachers. There was that show, Those Who Can't, which was extra funny,
That was a funny
on MTV.
show.
And I liked AP Bio,
I really liked AP Bio.
which is extra funny. I haven't seen Teachers, though.
Hmm.
Lynette, as a teacher, would you recommend that we should watch Teachers? And is it true to life? Is it what you think about every day when you go to work? Yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is so good. I was bummed when it got canceled, and I was extra happy when it came back.
Yeah.
It's a really good show. And all the characters are on it, too. And Andre Brower, who plays Captain Holt, was in another one of my favorite shows. He was in a show called Homicide: Life in the Streets. And it was a cop show, obviously a homicide show, in Baltimore. And it was really good. Real kind of gritty and stuff. It was really good. And also, fun fact, one of the cops on that show was named Detective Munch, played by Richard Belzer. And as that show was getting ready to cancel, he transferred from one department to another. And he transferred to New York City and then was on Law and Order.
Oh.
So he played all those years on Homicide and then a whole bunch more years on Law and Order. And he's one of those guys that have, this one of these I don't think he has the record for the longest time playing a single character. I still think that's Frasier, because he had all those years of Cheers and all those years of Frasier. But he played that character for a long time. Hi, Heather. Yeah, that was a good show, too, on Homicide: Life in the Streets.
That was a good show.
Andre Brown, I think Yaphet Kotto was in it.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, so this is what fun fact about college. Fun fact is that show used to be on Friday nights. And I think 10 to 11.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened is, in the afternoon is when a bunch of buddies and I would go out. And that's when we would go get a bite to eat in one of the local restaurants or bars or something. But it'd be like 2 or 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And then we'd like play pinball and just hang out. And then we'd go have dinner or whatever. Well, they would go out earlier, and I would stay home. It was just me, like, oh, now it's time to decompress. So then I could hang out and I could watch TV, and I would watch Homicide.
Yeah.
And then when that was done, then I would go out. Because this is in college, and 11
that's
o'clock,
when you go
and things
out.
don't close till 2, and then hang out afterwards. We watched the first half of Umbrella Academy. Remember that one? And there was a monkey in that one, too, the talking monkey, and all the kids were coming back.
Yeah.
I don't think we were in a place to watch that
into it.
one. You're not as big of a superhero fan either.
I'm not, sorry.
You're a superpowers type fan.
No.
Let's check one out. I haven't
Not
heard of The Boys. I'll have to look at
particularly.
that one too.
Mm-mm.
Man, see, there's so much good TV. I was thinking back when I was growing up and we had like 6 channels. And there's that old joke, there's only 6 channels, and if the president was speaking, oh, forget it. Because that's all they would show would be...
That's still kind of the case.
It's still kind of the case now. But at least now you can still go to,
You can still watch Netflix.
Netflix,
or
or
Hulu
like Comedy Central and Cartoon
HBO.
Network and HBO and Home and Garden, like all those things. But yeah, when you only had 3 networks, PBS and Channel 11 and Channel 13, there wasn't a whole lot. I also remember they used to do things, I don't think they even do them anymore. There used to be like afternoon movies, and they would have a host, and it would be like you would call in or send a postcard in, and they would reach in a hop or a bucket, and they'd say, oh, well, we have a number, and they would call, and if you answered the phone and you could tell them, like if you were watching, they have a dollar amount on the screen, and if you tell them the amount, then you won that amount. And if you couldn't do it, then they would add, I think it was like on 13, so they'd add $13 to the bucket. So it might have started out at like $50, and it'd be like 63, 76, 89, so it like would go up and up and up. But you just see the guy on the phone and be like, hey, this is whoever from Q13.
Yeah.
Are you watching? He's like, oh, you're not watching. Sorry to hear that. And I'm like, oh. Fun fact for me, I did miss out on $1,000 one time on a radio contest.
Oh, man.
They called my number at home. I said, hello. And they said, hello? I was like, hello? I was like, is that all you want to say? And I said, yeah, hello. And he's like, oh, well, if you'd answered KUBE means the most music, you would have won $1,000 on it. I was like, why weren't you listening? And I was like, I don't know. I don't usually listen to KUBE. And they're like,
They're
oh.
like, sorry, I don't listen to your station.
So I don't think that ever made it to the radio either.
Probably not.
When you're saying I don't listen to your station.
They called somebody else.
They called somebody else and gave someone else $1,000.
Sorry.
I did win a radio contest. I won a couple radio contests. And maybe we'll talk about radio contests some other night. But yeah, as we're going backwards, we're movies to
Exciting
TV,
content.
podcast, exciting content. Exciting video content is talking about old radio contests. Oh, well, here we go. I'll tie it back. Here's how I'll tie it back together.
Okay.
WKRP in Cincinnati
Sure.
and News Radio
Yep.
are two fun TV shows about radio
Love Boat.
stations.
Fantasy
Love Boat
Island.
and Fantasy Island. Oh, see? That was another thing, too. So, Love Boat and Fantasy Island, we watched another Love Boat episode just the other day, and I've watched a few of them recently, and even Fantasy Island. But you are so
Exciting
right.
content.
Casey did the same thing I did. Like, if we're watching a show and my parents are watching it, it'd be like, you know what? It's almost bedtime, or it's a little past bedtime. If I'm real quiet, I just kind of, I'm not really hiding.
Yeah.
Hi, Pamela. I'm not really hiding, but if I'm kind of quiet over here and I got a blanket up and I'm minding my own business,
They're not going to send me to bed.
maybe I can see the end of the show before I get sent to bed.
Smart.
I think there was a time where like my bedtime was like 8:30,
Mm-hmm.
and it was always tough if there was an hour-long show to never see the second half of the
Oh,
show.
yeah.
And
It's not like you could TiVo it
You
and watch
can't
it tomorrow.
TiVo it, and if it's ever on repeat, it'll be that summer, and my bedtime is still going to be 8:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, Love Boat and Fantasy Island are a pair of good ones. That's a good one. So anybody who's just joined, please tell us some more of your favorite TV shows. If we haven't talked about some of your TV shows, well, let us know. But yeah, the WKRP in Cincinnati was one that I watched a lot with my folks. 10-speed bike. Wow.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be weird to walk out of Arby's with a bike.
It is strange,
I
isn't
want
it?
this.
I remember one time a radio station, they said, walk in and tell us your name and we'll have your like concert tickets at the counter. And I remember like, I didn't really want to see whoever it was that bad.
Yeah.
And like to drive into Seattle and park and walk around and go in. And then I also felt it'd be weird to walk in like, I'm here for my free tickets.
Yeah.
But WKRP City also had a really fun theme song. It was kind of a cool show. Everyone was kind of nice to each other. I did joke about Les Nessman. So Les Nessman, they had an open workspace too. Like it was their bullpen. And he thought as news director, he should have walls, an office with walls. So he put tape down on the floor, said, this is where walls would be if I had walls.
Okay.
And if you came up and started talking to him, he wouldn't talk to you.
Because of his walls.
You had to pretend to knock on the door or pretend to open the door and close it. But that was like, nope, I need walls.
That's funny.
Third Rock from the Sun, News Radio, and Jane the Virgin. Like I said, I loved News Radio. It was super good. It wasn't quite as good when John Lovitz was on, but still the other characters were really good. I'd forgotten about Third Rock from the Sun until she mentioned it. Did you ever see Third Rock from the Sun?
Yeah, I watched a couple episodes of it. It wasn't my favorite.
I think Third Rock from the Sun there was a big period of time, maybe through the 90s, that there was TV shows that were around for a couple years and popular.
Long time.
And then just disappeared. You just don't even think about them again. It's probably because they might not have hit syndication. Like Mad About You
Oh, yeah.
was on for a while. And there was one with Richard Belzer and Jamie Lee Curtis, and they were dating, and I don't remember what that one was. And there was one that we used to always call the magazine show.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like the grandpa from the Goldbergs was in it.
Mm-hmm.
But they call him Brian Posehn was the male guy.
Yeah.
But like they're good shows, and we watched them for a couple years, and then it just kind of fades away, and you're like, oh, what happened to that show?
Yeah.
Was it Traffic Light? Wasn't that another one? That was a pretty good one.
That was a good one. That was cute.
Yeah. Nowadays, they'd probably just all be on Netflix, YouTube. I went through Netflix, like the Netflix originals, and same thing with Amazon originals. Like, I'd never heard of some of these shows.
No, there's a lot. There's just like so many options. The other thing,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll spend a half an hour just like scrolling, and then I'm like, well, I wasted my TV time just looking for a
something.
show, and I didn't even watch a show.
I feel like a lot of those things too is they just kind of throw it up on, throw it against the wall and see what sticks to come around.
Yeah, and then sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Phil Hartman was really, really good in that show. He was really good in Saturday Night Live too. Oh, Mad
Oh,
Men.
we loved Mad Men. I loved Mad Men. I rewatched it. I've watched that twice. I really liked Mad Men a lot.
Yeah, we watched Mad Men a lot. Again, it was one of those shows where we're like, look at that in the background. I loved Don Draper's apartment. Once he had the fancy apartment.
What a dream.
I've always wanted a conversation pit. I remember growing up as a kid, a couple of different families would have a conversation pit. Or they would have like a rumpus room, den, rec room that was kind of like, because it was all wood paneling and like usually like a big circular sofa or something was super fun.
Ooh, Emergency.
Yeah, Mad Men
I don't know
really
what that
good.
is.
Is Emergency the like 70s show with the ambulance?
I don't know. But that's exciting.
Yeah. Could be. I know. I remember watching a show like that too. And there was also one, I think it was called Adam 12, where they were just beat cops going around. It was pretty good. Kind of like The Rookie before The Rookie was The Rookie.
Yeah.
Hey, Jonathan. Yeah, so it was the old ambulance one. So that was a pretty good one too. I haven't seen that one forever. Hi, Kim. Hi, Michael. Thanks for everybody joining us again. We're talking about TV shows. Talk about some of your favorite TV shows. If we catch them as it comes through, we'll talk about them as well. What we remember about them, what we like about them, if there's other things about it. Everybody who talks about TV shows tonight is going to give me time on the exercise bike tomorrow. So that's going to be good.
Yeah, thanks for playing, everybody.
I hear the 5-minute warning.
Oh, that means I need to get out of here pretty soon.
Yep, Candice has a halau meeting.
Yeah, I have a hula meeting tonight.
The Pretender. Oh, which one was The Pretender? Why does that sound familiar?
I don't know which one that one is.
I feel like The Pretender was somebody every week. Was a guy every week that pretended to be something else to help solve crime or solve a mystery. Like, he might pretend to be a doctor, might pretend to be a cop, something like that. I feel like that was the case. Cozy TV. Cozy TV is one of those apps that are super cool that has a lot of the different TV shows on it. That might have been even the one we watched next on.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Jennifer. If you have a Fire Stick on your TV, there's lots of those free stations that are on there. The Genius that ran away. Yep, you nailed it. That was a good... I think that seems like a good show. That seems like one I'd want to check out. Does anybody remember the show Numbers? I saw that was on a repeat the other day. That was one that we had watched before. And it was really good, really good, really good. And it was also interesting to see Fleischman from Northern Exposure playing a hard-boiled beat cop. Or a hard-boiled detective. Cop detective. But then I think it got a little old to me just because it always would bust out with, oh, if you use the Maximilian principle of this and that. And you're like, oh, we'll predict which 3 banks are going to get robbed and then we'll figure it out. Nice. I think, what did Lisa just say? Firefly and...
Battlestar Galactica.
Both the directed Battlestar Galactica and Sopranos. I watched one season of the new Battlestar Galactica and I really liked it. There was a couple big twists in it. And then I didn't get back into it. I would want to watch it again. The old Battlestar Galactica I remember fondly because that was in that kind of late 70s things where we'd watch at night. And I think it was something that my parents would tolerate, like, because we only had one TV, right? So everyone had to watch it. So that would be on. It was in that same time period of like Buck Rogers in the 25th Century would be on, or the old school Hardy Boys mysteries and things. I really think that right now, I know a lot of places, a lot of the networks are like, we don't have things to, new content to be showing.
Scrubs.
Oh, Scrubs. They have new content.
Scrubs.
I would really like ABC to bring back Wild World of Disney.
Yeah,
Show
that would
old
be
Disney
great.
shows. They had a lot of nature shows. That would be cool.
Oh, I was just going to say, Jen loves Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Jen said it.
Hi, Jen.
I love you, Jenny.
Oh, Mission Impossible was good. I liked Mission Impossible. Oh, I also liked, not quite Mission Impossible, but was the old Wild Wild West and Man from U.N.C.L.E. Those, because that was really in the spy era.
Yeah.
So those kind of late 60s spy thing was good. I saw Scrubs. There's yet to be a show, I think, that have like a bromance friendship as much as those two guys did on Scrubs.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
I love that show. I really loved Scrubs.
And then even like...
That was such a good
there's
show.
There's a lot of 70s shows that when they've remade them, they haven't been as great. Like, I didn't think the Hawaii Five-O was okay,
Yeah, it was alright. I had a couple friends and a cousin
in it. You know?
Yeah.
And the new Magnum PI, I think they just had the wrong people playing the characters. It was a good idea. It didn't make it out. But, like, I think that I like in the 70s shows, I hope they don't remake, but I really liked the Rockford Files. I liked Simon and Simon. I liked Riptide. These are kind of late 70s, early 80s. Bonanza, Dukes of Hazzard. Yes, Bonanza and Dukes of Hazzard. Can't go wrong with that. Two guys from Scrubs. They have a podcast going through the episodes.
Really? Oh my gosh,
I'm gonna have to get that. So I've been listening to The Office Ladies, and I guess there's a Cheers one, but the Cheers one are just fans. There aren't people from this show, Cheers. So I'm gonna have to look up for that one for Scrubs, because that I would really like to listen to. Plus, I think they would both crack me up.
Yes, for
Cheers and Taxi. Oh, Taxi.
I've got to head out, but have fun, you guys.
Thanks, Candice. Have a great meeting. Say hi to everybody. Aloha! Well, Dolly's now confused as to where she's going to go. Oh, yeah. Cheers and Taxi. I think a lot of people have missed Taxi. That's one of those shows where you watch and realize everybody on it is famous. That is crazy. Cheers is still one of my all-time favorite shows. And in fact, every once in a while I hear the word Cheers, sometimes I almost think like Cheers is filmed before a live studio audience. I'm like, oh, there we go. Another great TV theme song. Maybe we'll have another exercise bike challenge in the future where we talk about TV theme songs. I had a couple of CDs and it's really fun to listen to. And there's some YouTube channels or videos that you can watch where all they have is just theme song and theme song. But Cheers and Taxi was really good. I like Barney Miller when it was on. That was a good show. What are some of the more recent shows? Like we really enjoy like Reno 911 was one. Goldberg's. Schooled is pretty good. American Housewife's pretty funny. Yeah, there's a lot of good shows that are on. But there's a lot of smart people. There's a lot of talented people doing it. There's a lot of opportunity for places to go. So something that's on. Mork and Mindy. Talk about a crazy show. Can you imagine trying to describe to somebody that had never seen Mork and Mindy what the show was? And they're looking like, that was a show? And sometimes I tell these shows to Candice, and she's like, what? I'm like, no, that was a show. Like, oh yeah, this guy has a talking donkey. Like, what? And like, oh yeah, that's it. Oh, this guy's mom died, and she's now in the car. Like, what? Yeah, there's some crazy TV shows. It doesn't feel like there's that many conceptual shows like that. I think Happy might be one. There was one about a dog where the guy would talk to his dog. But yeah, I think a lot of shows are kind of trying to be more grounded in reality. Even with the Third Rock from the Sun, you don't really kind of see the aliens coming around. Maybe they kind of leave that more for some of the animated shows. Gomer Pyle, we watched. What else we used to really like? Mr. Belvedere was one we would watch all the time. And of course, the Facts of Life and Different Strokes, other good shows. Well, thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it here for Fun Size Fez Friday. My drink is empty. I think I have a little bit left here. Staying hydrated with a little Arnold Palmer. Maybe a little more lemonade than iced tea in it, so just the way I like it. Mm-hmm. Dolly's over here. You see me lifting this pillow. This is just a pillow. It is not Dolly. Dolly's still extra curly from when Candice gave her a bath yesterday, so we'll probably brush her out. I'm going to try tomorrow to hose down Wilfred. That's right. That was another crazy show, but it was super funny. Yeah, so I think kind of writing down today some of my all-time favorites. I love Firefly. That was great. Love Cheers. Office, Parks and Rec. You can't go wrong with those. A lot of those cop shows. I liked a lot of the cop detective shows. I'm sorry, I don't know if there's as many kind of that hard-boiled detective shows like there were back in the day. I think some of them are coming back. I think Magnum PI is the closest one to that. I think they redid a Spencer for Hire movie with Mark Wahlberg, so I want to check that out because I liked the old Spencer for Hire with Spencer and Hawk. That was a good show. We'll probably have to talk about another TV show one night with maybe like crazy shows like Manimal. Hi, Krista. Manimal or Automan. I'm surprised. Did anybody mention A Team? That was a show that would be on. I mean, I'd watch it. Like somehow they'd fire 1,000 rounds and nobody ever got shot. And Mr. T would throw somebody around. And they stole a helicopter. I guess it's right in that vein of the Dukes of Hazzard. There's some crazy, crazy stuff back in the day. Maybe that's formed like how all we are thinking today is because we were watching those shows. Oh, here's a funny TV show story, and it has to do with the TV show One Day at a Time. So this is back when I was a kid. I was probably in kindergarten, maybe first grade, and we had a babysitter. And she was a high school girl, and a couple of her friends were over, and we were sitting in the yard. And I'm just like, I'm 5 or 6. My brother's 3 or 4. Was hanging out, and a cheerleader. I think she was a cheerleader, but our baby. We're going through like Teen Beat and Tiger Beat magazine and everything, and they were saying how much they loved John Schneider. They thought John Schneider was the best. He was the cutest. He's the best looking man they've ever seen. And John Schneider's the best and the sexiest and everything else. Well, I was young enough that I hadn't quite pieced together actor names and character names. So they were talking about John Schneider, who of course plays Bo Duke on Dukes of Hazzard. All I could think of was Schneider, the handyman maintenance guy with the denim vest and the sleeves rolled up from One Day at a Time. Or maybe it was Too Close for Comfort. Either one of those. But that was what my brain was saying, like, well, so that's what you guys, that's what the pretty girls think is the epitome of handsome. I'll just keep that in mind. So it wasn't until many years later until I kind of learned the error of my ways there. So if you ever see me coming around carrying a toolbox and a denim vest and my sleeves rolled up, I'm reverting back to what I had originally been imprinted in my brain as what was sexy. Well, it's 7 o'clock. We had a great hour. I really appreciated everybody. I hope you had a wonderful day. This is a great way to end the week, kick off the weekend, even though weekend nights are going to be pretty much like weeknights. Quantum Leap. Oh, Set Right, which once went wrong. That show was so good. Ethan Campaign with John Schneider. Tools, I think Mac Tools, very cool. I kicked the camera. John Schneider has a couple really cool videos lately where he's answering questions about Dukes of Hazzard, and his answer is always like, why do I know the answer? Because I was there. So I think that's a pretty good reason. I loved Quantum Leap. I also really enjoyed how they tied the last few episodes together with previous episodes, and you really got in there. It was super fun. A lot of that reminiscing about those old TV shows. And some of these shows, like if people were to talk to kids, maybe 16, 15, 14, they'd have no idea what these shows were. They'd watch it and be like, what's going on? I have heard stories of people introducing their children to some of their favorite shows, and now it's their favorite show. They're like, what is going on? I mean, it was a simpler time. And also it's nice that a lot of shows, even the 1 hour shows, you can watch them in any order. A lot of series now feels like you have to watch it in order, and that's a big time investment. But if you can just throw on an episode of Rockford Files and watch it as a cool detective show, or you can turn on a Columbo movie, it's there, or Dukes of Hazzard, or A-Team. Quantum Leap, that was a really, really good one. I'd forgotten about that one. So thank you, everybody. Had a wonderful, fun time. It was really good seeing all of you. I think hopefully everybody who was on here commented about one of their TV shows that they liked. If you haven't, there's still time while I'm here. So everybody who chatted with me today, I'm going to count up all the unique people. It's all going to give me time on the exercise bike tomorrow. When we come back tomorrow, we'll talk about how my exercise bike ride went. I'm complaining again, and this complaint is now completely on me now because there's been plenty of time. I haven't bought a new seat for the exercise bike, so my old Tookus is going to be a little sore. Andy Griffith Show and Bewitched, two amazing shows. Andy Griffith Show, we've been talking about Gomer Pyle, but the Andy Griffith Show, where it came from, and Bewitched, so good. Candice gets inspired by all the caftans that her mom, the mother, would wear on that show, or the grandmother on that show. Um, Also, I Dream of Jeannie. I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched, a good 1-2 punch for that show. Oh, the Dick Van Dyke Show, extra funny. There's a lot of those good shows. Um, did anybody ever watch the Misadventures or the Adventures of Dobie Gillis? Another super cool show. Hey John, how you doing? Sissy, I think you'd mentioned about being on Laugh-In. Laugh-In seemed extra funny. It also seemed like a show that they had a good time making. Now I don't know if that's true. I don't know if they got along. Obviously, it's a time period where things were way different. But that might, again, I talk about fun to have a documentary. It'd be cool to see a documentary about how they made Laugh-In and who was in Laugh-In. I would also like to see the same thing about Hee Haw. I had a similar thing with Hee Haw, is they did have a show, and it was like I think they were selling DVDs. You know those like hour-long infomercials where they would get together and they would like, hey, buy all the CDs and whatnot. This was a big, long one, maybe 2 hours long, and they had all the old stars on there talking about their old memories from the show and their old characters and stuff. So that was another good show. I know there was a lot of those hillbilly girls that were super cute and super talented musicians. The clothes hilarious, the hair hilarious. Hi Heidi. It was just a different time, and they just don't really have those kind of musical variety shows anymore, where there'd be comedy and music and skits and whatnot. I mean, they have some of the. I guess maybe the Masked Singer might be close. They did do a Masked Singer, and they also did a Disney sing-along show, which was kind of nice. Candice and I watched that, and we're singing along. So if you have, maybe check those out. But yeah, there doesn't seem to be a lot where they're going to come out. Maybe like the Gong Show, if anybody remembers the old Gong Show, and even the new Gong Show when it came back. I don't know about Michael Myers' character in that one, but the Gong Show was a fun show. We didn't even talk about game shows. That's going to be a whole nother night. We can talk about the Match Game and Joker's Wild and the Gong Show and Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune and Card Sharks and so much awesome stuff. Anyway, after talking about all this TV, I feel like I'm going to go read a book tonight. I think I have a couple books, a couple Mickey Spillane books I haven't read that I downloaded, so I'm going to do those. Beverly Hillbillies, Real McCoys, Dating Game, Green Acres. Oh, the Dating Game was crazy. Like, if you try to explain to people about the Dating Game, they're like, what are you talking about? Same thing with Love Connection back in 2 and 2. Doctor Who Fezes are cool. You like it? My mini Fez. I thought for a long time that I still do. I would love to be a famous celebrity, but if I was just famous enough to be on the Match Game, those late 70s Match Games, they look like they had a great time. And I'm pretty sure under the desk they had a little drink that they were going on the whole time. Hey Clark, how you doing? Yeah, all those old Candice used to say when we lived in North Bend that we were Green Acres, that I was the country and she was the city. The Newlywed Game. Oh man, that Game Show Network is good now. But yeah, the Newlywed Game where people are saying something. Oh, okay. I was going to sign off. Crazy, crazy game show. I don't remember the name of it, and I wish I did. They had 2 versions of it, and they had the earlier version, which was extra funny, would be a man, his secretary, and his wife. So again, already, this is pure 60s, 70s, gender roles, outdated. The secretaries were all young. They all were like single and lived with other girlfriends in their apartments and everything else. And the guys would all be businessmen. So it'd be like, I'm the head of the insurance company and I have my secretary. Well, what would happen is they would ask questions of to the secretary, ask the same question to the husband, and then same to the wife. So the question might be, how many times has your boss been to your apartment? So I'd ask the secretary that. And she'd be like, oh, I don't know, 2. And then they'd ask the boss, and he'd be like, oh, it was 2. Like, I had to drop off flowers, and she was like, he'd explain it. And they would ask the wife, and the wife would be like, it better be none. It was super fun. to watch them just squirm. But then the other part too was there sometimes they would be like, well, who runs the office? And they'd all be like, oh, the secretary runs the office. She does everything. And it was very interesting to watch how the role was more than just at work. These people, these women were above and beyond what they needed to be doing. It was a crazy, crazy show. It is so terrible. People were treating each other so horribly. Oh, man. Yeah. We'll go back to Candid Camera. Candid Camera, much better. Candid Camera and Kids Say the Darndest Things, two awesome shows. I can't believe things would go on. The Faces of Surprise, where people were doing things. Totally inspired, I think, the Impractical Jokers, which I really enjoy as well. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be as nostalgic as it was thinking about all these old TV shows, but those are some super good shows. Almost all of these shows, I'm sure, are on some app. I'm sure that somewhere along the line they've purchased the rights for them, and some of these shows are probably really super cheap for the rights, because if they're not showing them, they're just sitting around and somebody could pay a little bit for them, or some kind of profit sharing on advertising. But yeah, I encourage everybody to reach out, look for some old shows. As a fun thing, maybe look up the top shows in the year that you were born, or the year that you were, like, fifth grade or in kindergarten or something, just to kind of see things and see if you can remember the names of them. I know when I worked I worked for the school newspaper when I was in college, and I used to go through old issues of the paper, and I would look at them, and sometimes there'd be a TV listing, and I go, I don't remember those shows. And they would also show movie listings for the movie theaters in town. And you think you know the popular shows, the really popular ones, the ones that have held the test of time, the really popular movies, but then there's movies that are created every week, movies that are coming out every week, TV shows every week. You just don't even think about them anymore. Like, was there Kate and Allie? Was it Kate and Allie, one where the two moms were living together with their kids? I mean, how about My Sister? Was it My Sister Sam? That was a crazy show. My Two Dads. How about this? They weren't sure who was the father of the little girl, so the judge orders them to all live together because there was no DNA testing at the time. Craziness. But somewhere there's someone living in a house in Malibu or Palm Springs or Oceanside or in the Valley in California, living in a house paid for by writing those scripts. They wrote those My Sister Sam scripts. I Love Lucy, another one. Now, everybody, please don't hate me. Please don't hate me. I don't love I Love Lucy. I'm not a big fan. There's a couple episodes that I think are super classic, and they're really amazing, and I really enjoy it. Of course, obviously, I love the Christmas episode. It's good. There's the wine stomping one. There's the chocolate one, like some of those classic ones. Super Vita Vegemint or something, another great one. But there was also a lot of episodes that just kind of meandered for me, wasn't my thing. But that's the whole thing. There's a lid for every pot. Everyone that loves it, loves it. That's why there's lots of channels. If everybody loved the same thing, there'd only be one channel. So, yeah, I Love Lucy was out there. Oceanside, where I am. Totally a guess on my side. But Ellen, if you look around, maybe there's people who have houses around you that wrote on those old TV shows. Maybe they write on current TV shows. I have a friend I went to college with who is a teacher, and he teaches on movie sets when they have school-aged people. And so every once in a while he's like, well, I'm at this studio today. I can't tell you what we're filming or who we're filming with, but I'm here all week and teaching English and math and history. I'm like, well, that'd be a fun way to be a teacher. The only downside is, of course, there's lots of there's not as much stability. They always need students. They always have students. They always have teachers. But it's not, like he says, it's not like a fall to summer job. All right, I did that goodbye thing where I said I was going to say goodbye, and now it's been 20 minutes. But it's just so great when people come on, when people are engaged. I don't want to stop. I just love talking with everybody. Hi, Tracy. It's good to see people in. It's good to hope it'll be a good way to kick off the weekend. I know usually I've been going at 7 o'clock. We started at 6. Prima donnas. Are you calling me a prima donna, or is that a TV show prima donna? Was Prima Donna the spinoff of Different Strokes? I said hello, don't say goodbye. Hogan's Heroes. Can you Hogan's Heroes? First of all, super funny show. The host of the Bob Crane, crazy story about his death and what kind of stuff he was doing in Hollywood. Um, I guess he had a whole thing of taking nudie pictures of starlets and then died under mysterious circumstances, but craziness. You know, the kids he has to teach. There you go. Movie or TV shows. The guy is teaching Girl Brad on movie sets. Oh, that could be. That seems like that'd be a great TV show. Let's see what we were just talking about. I just lost my mind. I won't say goodbye. Prima donnas. So, prima donnas. He was murdered. Yeah, he was murdered, and like they've never figured out why. It was super crazy. For some reason, I'm thinking about prima donnas being the dance school spinoff of Different Strokes that had Leah Remini in it. Kids he has to teach. Oh. You remember Head of the Class? About the, how was it? Howard Hessman is the teacher for the honor students. And they had, they had a big slice of everybody in the honor students, including the young kid, and the nerd, and the jock, and the real preppy kid and everything. The poetry girl. That was a pretty interesting show. Again, one of those 80s shows that were around. You kind of remember it, you kind of don't. I was almost thinking like I could turn on the TiVo and just go through like the Me TV or what was the other one? Antenna TV to see the different things that are on. Yeah. I've watched a lot of Westerns recently, so I was watching The Rifleman. That was a good one. Have Gun Will Travel. Mrs. Mike Tyson. That is correct. Mrs. Mike Tyson. Who, yeah, she was in that show for sure. I'm trying to remember who else, if there's anybody else that was in that show that turned out to be, I mean, they were all famous at the time, but I think that was about it. But yeah, Robin Givens. It's weird like how the different neurons fire, like some names I remember and some I don't. And also if I tried to remember it, I wouldn't be there, but... Oh. So Clark, keep watching downstairs. Good night, Heidi. Great. Glad I could have both members of the family in. The tassel's getting a little caught up in the beard. But for Fun Size Fizz Friday, I really appreciate everybody logging in. It's super fun. I enjoy talking with everybody. I know it's not the easiest because there is a little bit of a delay, but it's probably easier than going Zoom where everybody can see everybody else. Everybody tries to talk all at the same time. I did have a Zoom kind of cocktail party last week with some friends, and they hosted it. And there was, 16 little boxes, but really you can only hear one or two people at a time. It was still fun. It was still fun to see people experiment with things going on. People see this background, they see the lasers going, and they see the bright green. Pierce Brosnan, James Bond night. Remington Steele. It was a weird thing. Like, if I remember correctly, he was going to be James Bond, but he couldn't get out of the Remington Steele contract. So, since he couldn't get out of the Remington Steele contract, they had to get somebody else, and I think that's when they got Timothy Dalton. But then his contract came around, and I think it was a weird timing thing where they said, nope, we need you as Remington Steele. We're not letting you out of the contract. And then they said, okay, we hired Timothy Dalton. And then either they canceled Remington Steele or the ratings dropped off or something happened. Oh, thanks, Tracy. Well, if you enjoy listening to someone talk, you've come to the right place. I'll just keep talking. Obviously, because it's been now 25 minutes since I said I was going to say goodbye. But Remington Steele, I love James Bond movies. The old ones and the new ones. They're super fun. I think it's cool, the gadgets. I think it's cool, the cars. I think, talk about action-packed, end-to-end, and just crazy action. Like, oh, I'm going to be on a motorcycle and ride down a bobsled chute, and then I'm going to jump this motorcycle onto a boat, which turns into a submarine, and then I'm going to fly into space. Like, and you did this in the course of 2 weeks. Like, what is happening? Also, I feel like on James Bond and also the James Bond movies, first of all, people should be a lot more impressed with the evil layers that these people come up with. Because you look around, and you're like, some contractor had to put this together. Someone had to go to a contractor and an architect and say, what I need is this giant room that's under a volcano, surrounded by water. I need giant windows with sharks. But I also need the floor to open up and a table to come up, and the table have a scale model of Fort Knox and have a laser shining on it. And like, some contractors got to be like, all right, just like, hey, sign the work order and I'll build it. Just keep it coming, keep the money coming. I'm pretty sure in the grand scheme of things, they would have killed all of them. I think it would be cool. I think they did a little bit in Venture Brothers where they were kind of talking about the henchmen, but I think it'd be a fun show to be a show that was around the henchmen of the big bad guy. So not necessarily anything to do with the hero or the bad guy, but just the henchmen. Just like, yeah, I'm on a shift, I'm working, we're all in our crazy uniforms, and I worked for this guy for a little while. Now I'm coming over to this guy. James Bond came around, blew up our whole lair, so now I'm working for a different bad guy. I was told the new James Bond you could still do it. Nice. So, yeah, so I like those James Bond movies. Those are fun. Yeah. Cool. I'm trying to think about what else movies, TV shows that I've really liked. Like there were times too where like BC, which is before Candice, I would pick TV shows when I was starting to get tired and I'd be watching it, and I'd think, well, what's going to be on this channel in the morning? So I was like, when I would wake up, it would be on there. Hi, Erica. And that was before we had like the Golf Network or Baseball Network, because that was a nice thing to go to sleep to. Especially the Golf Network, is you're not really going to have anything shocking that's coming on and really wake you up. But at least it's something that you could listen to and be calm and go to sleep. Um, I know that when I'd be homesick, of course, you'd watch The Price is Right and maybe a couple other game shows. And of course, now it's just Law and Order that's on all the time. It used to be Wings, I felt, was on all the time. Wings, another show which was real popular for a couple years and have disappeared. Like Newhart. I don't know if people have seen Newhart with I'm Larry, it's my brother Daryl, my other brother Daryl. And then based on, even before that, the old Bob Newhart show. So many crazy TV shows that have been around for a long time. I do think it would be fun to be when I hear these podcasts, I talk about being in the writing room and coming up with ideas. It'd just be interesting to sit and watch it. There was an episode, I think, of South Park where they were showing how they made an episode of South Park in a week, because they have the animation computers in-house. So they just sit and write and kind of put it all together, and then within a week they have it. And they were like transmitting the show to the network a couple hours before it was going to go on. I mean, that kind of pressure must really get to you, but it seems like that would be really an interesting job, really creative, really going to use that kind of energy, that creative energy around. Hi, Marie. But yeah, lots of fun stuff. Marie, were your ears burning? We were just talking about Hogan's Heroes and World War II. Maybe you could hear some of that and thought you'd log in. Sorry, I kicked it. See, I've got the phone is sitting on a tripod, and the tripod has its legs that are kind of sticking out, and it's right behind my heel. So as I kind of shift a little bit, every once in a while I kick it. So I don't mean to give everybody a little seasickness as the whole thing moves. I'm mounting a troll. Oh, is it a trolling motor, I'm guessing? My first thing was like, how are you going to mount a troll? But I'm guessing a trolling motor with a foot pedal so you can fish and move at the same time. That's going to be my guess. If it's not my guess, I really want to see this troll that you mount. Is it a bridge troll? Do you have to solve its riddle before it lets you over the bridge? The trolls that live in the mountains of Scandinavia? I think there's that place up in Snoqualmie Pass, Trollhagen, I think. Sons of Norway have it. Combat. What about like the Rat Patrol? That was another great show. What was I think there's another one. Oh, SWAT was a different. That was not World War II-ish. Um, uh, the Baba Black Sheep. I didn't have Microsoft Office. I would have never got a degree. You would have gotten a degree. That it was that Redmond High School education carrying us through. Go Mustangs! Well, I felt like I was just really babbling on for a long time. I wonder what TV shows people are watching. If I could figure out how to do a watch party with one of these TV shows on there, maybe we could do that someday. Just kind of commenting on what's on. I'm not just going to aim it at the TV and let it go. One, I think Facebook might get mad at that. But I'm sure there's YouTube videos and things that are on that we could watch at the same time. I think watch party might be fun sometimes. What's on? Maybe you don't have that channel or don't have that show. It's not going to be the best resolution for sure, but there's lots of fun stuff to see. But that being said, I always say everything in moderation. You can watch a lot of TV, but you know what else is good? Listen to some music, listen to the radio, read a book, read a magazine, even if the book is on Kindle, even a book on tape for that matter. My book on tape listening has gone way down because I used to do it during my commute. I had an hour and 15 minutes each way commute. But now that my commute is going down the 14 steps from upstairs to downstairs, not long enough to listen to a podcast. Heck, I only think I've worn real shoes once in about the past 3.5 weeks. I got my slippers on. I work, for all you know, I'm not even wearing any pants. It's one of the great things about the video. All you have to see is just this spot, even though it looks like I'm voguing, just this area. I have yet to unveil a fun-size fez for people at work, but I do have full-size fez. I have one sitting here. Like, I feel like this would be something that would be, look, I've got a full-size fez. Like, what's underneath it? Oh, a small one. Just for giggles. I mean, doesn't everybody have a selection of fez just sitting around within arm's reach? Oh man, see, we talk about game shows. There's going to be another. I'm going to have to come up with a couple of. I'm going to write. I need somebody to write down these ideas. Saturday morning cartoons. What were some of your favorite Saturday morning cartoons? Hey, Chris. So these will all be great ideas for other episodes. These are going to be fantastic for other exercise bike challenges. I'm going to go through this later. I'll post how many minutes everybody gave me for coming on talking about their TV shows. Cliff Notes on tape. You know what? There probably is Cliff Notes on tape, but it also makes me wonder if that hasn't all just converted to YouTube. I haven't even thought about Cliff Notes in forever. I remember there used to be the big Cliff Notes section at the bookstore, and of course I would read the book. I was kind of known for not reading the book in school and doing well on tests, and it made a couple English professors and teachers really upset. My forte was more to interview the people in class before the class, so I'd interview one person and say, so what'd you think of the reading last night? They liked it, didn't like it. What were the parts that you liked? This is what's going on. I'm like, okay, then I'd go to someone else and like, oh, I heard these parts were big. What did you think about this? What did you think about that? So I'd be able to get enough of the big points in, and then we'd get a quiz, and I'd do okay on the quiz. So the teachers never really liked it that much, but we also had some really dry books. I wonder if you could go to YouTube and just type in any book and recap. I'm sure if you typed in Red Badge of Courage recap, it would give you an information. Or All Quiet on the Western Front recap. Bam, that would be in there. Where the Red Fern Grows, they probably have it on there. Yeah, that might be interesting to check out. YouTube's quite the resource. I've done lots of home repairs with resources from other people doing the exact same thing on YouTube. I'm going to repair a TV, I think, from something I saw on YouTube. Lots of very, very talented people with lots of information, and it's really cool to see how people share that information. There's lots of amazing, talented people on this call today. I saw Alan, fantastic, talented, artist, photographer, and illustrator, and storyteller. Marie, amazing, talented model, but also super information about wartime information, or especially World War II. I know she knows a lot more. I'm very summarizing things in here. I know we've got other photographers on here. I've got storytellers. We've got writers and painters and artists. But also, I know I think I saw a diesel mechanic on here earlier, and a regular car mechanic, and plumbers and electricians. I have friends that are meteorologists on TV producers. It's just really fun to kind of get together and talk about some of those things. So hopefully, when things get back to semi-normal and the social distances can be a lot smaller, some of those social distances will lead us right outside here to the back deck. We've got a big fun fire table. We got some lights. Of course, we got the tiki bar here. Dolly, come here. My supervisor, come on. Dolly, right here. Come on. Come on. People want to see you. Here's my supervisor making sure everything's under control. So come meet Dolly. Have her bark at you for a while and then beg for your snacks. She's my right hand. I feel a little bit sometimes when she's sitting here. I do feel like a bad guy in a Bond movie. We'll be like, oh, Mr. Bonds, of course. See, now you were just so wonderful. Or the bad guy in the old Danger Mouse. Was it Claw? So Dolly's my on-site supervisor. She'll do this as well when I have a work meeting. She'll just jump in my lap in front, so I don't keep the video on very much. But I'm also very careful to make sure when I have a video on and off, so what's behind me. Some of the artwork in the tiki room is not work safe. There's some topless mermaids around that maybe aren't ready for prime time at the office. But yes, hopefully we'll get more people together. I think a lot of people are starting to realize as much as an introvert as they thought they were. I hope that these live meetings help a little bit, help get a little insight into this old noggin, which there's just a lot of stuff rattling around in there. Again, I'm trying to get a little bit of a tassel twirl going. I'm gonna have some friends that are much better at tassel twirling than me. I get a little dizzy when I do that. But I look forward to seeing everybody. I look forward to hanging out with people again. I think it'll be wonderful to see people. I think that hopefully that being able to hear my voice is a voice that's something other than on TV. This is a voice of somebody that you know, somebody that appreciates you, somebody that cares about you. Please, everybody, be safe. Stay home. It's important that we're all in this together, and the more that we stay home, the more that we can nip this in the bud. I really appreciate it. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. If you need somebody to talk to, please reach out to me. We can talk about anything. I don't even have to know anything about it. I'll talk about anything. I'll make it up as I go along. Obviously, as everybody's seen here, I'll make it up as I go along. You want to talk about, is Bigfoot real? Got it. What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about favorite music artists? Done. We'll do that too. But I really appreciate everybody joining in, especially everybody who joins in and talks. Even if you're just a lurker in the background, that's great. Just know that I appreciate that you're here. Hope that you have fun. Hope that you feel comfortable. Feel free to chat with anybody that's on here. I'm always around. I really, really do. Thank everybody for joining. Have a wonderful evening. I'll talk to you all soon. Like I said, I'll count everybody who chatted. I'll put everybody's the count up of how many minutes I have on the exercise bike tomorrow. I'll report back tomorrow how many minutes I did on the exercise bike. I'll be a little sweaty when it happens, but it'll be great. All right. Thank you, everybody. I love you.